Hey, you guys. How's things? What you been up to? Well, I think I'm kind of coming around full circle back to, I don't know. I don't know what's been going on with my head. I think it's a menopause thing, maybe. Anyway. um, okay, so I had recently put out some journals that I made using some of the ledger pages that, that I've been collecting. And I mentioned that I would do like a kind of like a how-to of how I created those covers. And I think it'd be really fun to maybe do some minis kind of in the same style. So I actually had cut down some pages, some ledger pages that I was going to make into envelopes. And so I thought I'd like to try to use those. So these were cut to 10 by 10 inches. So I took some other pages and I cut those down to 10 by 10 also, and saved the bottom piece for another project. This book was a little bit, the pages were a little narrow, so I just cut them 10 inches this way, and they're going to wind up being a little shorter than the other ones, but that's okay, because the way I've decided to fold the pages once they're all done and make them into journals is I'm going to make some real tall, narrow journals, so like minis. But so these are going to be okay. These are going to wind up getting trimmed a little bit, I think, again. So, but that's all right. Anyway, so I've just got a bunch of pages that I'm going to try to collage. And so I thought what I would do is just kind of go through how I layer these different papers. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, well, first of all, what I'm trying to do is preserve the writing that's on these, and also retain some of the texture. To make these into a journal cover, you want it to have some body, right? Like you want it to have a little bit of weight and be relatively sturdy. Some of these pages are very sturdy anyway, but not really sturdy enough on their own to be a cover for a journal. So, but in order to retain some of that writing, I want that to still come through, So I thought, okay, I'm just going to use papers that are relatively transparent when they're glued down, to just add another layer onto the surface. And so I have a whole bunch of these. These are the Tim Holtz collage papers. I've taken them off of the rolls and just folded them up flat. So I think I've got 3 or 4 different ones. So these are the rolls that you can buy, and then I just folded them flat for storage purposes. I've got some these are papers that were in between some old postcards in some postcard books. So these are kind of like the protective paper that it was in between each postcard, and they're really cool to use for this kind of thing because they become transparent when you glue it down. I've also got some rice paper that I bought at an art supply store. And obviously that is very transparent, but it's really sturdy. It adds a lot of strength. So that's kind of cool. And then I've got some patterned tissue that doesn't have any of the pattern on it. So, if you wanted to do something like this, obviously, if the pattern was still on there, that would be okay too, but I just liked this because it didn't have any of the pattern on it. I have some onion skin that has writing on it, which is fine. This is obviously kind of like a orange color onion skin, but this is really old paper. But I like that it's also transparent when it's glued down. More pattern paper. See, I have a whole bunch of it, different tones of color, and then just some regular tissue paper. You could stamp on this and that kind of thing just to give it some interest. There's another one of those rolls. The backing from napkins. If you work with napkins in your crafting, this is a good way to use the backs from your napkins. So don't ever throw those away when you separate your napkins. What else do I have over here? Some napkins. I don't use napkins that much. Every once in a while I do. But I pulled out some that are just kind of like a pattern more than like a big floral design or something, so that I can just use like little bits of this, little pieces of it. Then I do have a little bit of the like the Stamperia collage papers that I've torn into little pieces. So I'll use some of those here and there. I don't use them that much, but if I feel like, oh, that would look really cool there, like this one I like with the little pen nibs and stuff. So this is a piece of a napkin. Anyway, so just kind of give you an idea of what's over here in my pile. Oh, these are some needlework patterns. I believe they're like an iron-on type of thing. And this stuff doesn't really become super transparent, but a little bit. So, but I like the pattern that's on it. So I've got a whole stack of that onion skin. So I can like tear off pieces where there's just a little bit of writing and then just use that paper. Anyway, and then the most exciting thing, I think, is this copybook that I actually got from Louise, and so this is from a previous one. These came from a different copybook that I bought from her. These pages right here, I actually sprayed with a clear coat, so they've kind of got that like glossy surface on one side. And I just did that because I wanted to see what it would do, you know what I mean? So, and then I also have just some super thin tracing paper. It's really, really thin tracing paper. I bought it on Amazon, and I didn't even know that it was this thin, but it's like super, super, super thin tracing paper. So, but it works pretty much the same as this paper, and I believe that this paper is onion skin paper. Just saying. But this is great because it's all written in French, and it's just Frenchy French stuff. And then there's some blank pages from some of these books that I thought I could do some stamping on. Yeah, so see, I've got bunches of it. So as I'm kind of going through this, I thought it would be kind of fun to offer to you guys, if anybody's interested in putting together like a little kit for you. And I'm talking very, very inexpensive, reasonably priced kit for you if you would like to do some of this kind of thing. So I've also got this book that I got a long time ago from Brooke. She sent this to me. And this is also a copybook, but it's completely blank. But it has that same paper in it. So there's a whole book of this that can be stamped on. And so this, I would include some of this in a kit, and also some of the these that are already, written on. And then, some of my other papers that are transparent, some of that tracing paper. I would include some of these because I've got tons of this. And some of the pattern paper. I just have so much of it that there's no possible way that I could use it all. And then obviously some ledger paper. So if you've got $25, I will put together a kit for you, and just send you out a nice little pack of stuff that you can sort of work along and do the same kind of thing. I think I could also include some book pages, like from some of these old books that I've got, the old dictionaries, and just obviously, you guys have seen all this stuff before. I've got lots of handwritten. These are all things that have handwriting on them, little notebooks, and then I've got all these other books with the French like school books and things like that. So give you a little pack of paper, like book pages to go along, and then some stickers from some of the sticker books. I can give you some of those too. So $25, and I'm happy to put together a kit for you. And I'm usually pretty generous with those things. I don't have them made up already, but if you know me, you know that I'm pretty generous when it comes to that kind of thing. Anyway, so basically, I'm just going to let's just pull one of these out. I do want to show you the process though, because I think it's important. So basically, I'm just going to use a glue stick. I ran out of the Elmer's glue, and I ran out of the Amazon Basics glue, so I'm back to using the purple disappearing purple glue from Target, and it works fine. It's just, it bugs me that it's purple, but anyway. And since this is all going to get coated again, like, I'm not just relying on this glue, on the integrity of this glue to keep everything together. This is mainly just for laying down my layers, and then I'm going to clear coat it, and then it's also going to get stitched on the sewing machine. So as far as durability, I'm not relying on this glue to hold the whole thing together, but it is going to work for just laying down some of the paper onto the surface. So I just wanted to also show you guys, all those like background stamps that we all have. Like this one is like some dictionary, what do you call them? Entries. Just, things that are cool textures, like this one with the letters. Some other just background things, even things like this look really cool, stamped onto that onion skin paper. So if you don't have enough of the handwritten onion skin paper from the copybook, you could kind of make your own, using these stamps. And so this is just an example of what I've done with one of those. So I just kind of wanted to show you, give you, get your mind working a little bit, into using things that you already have. Of course, you could stamp on this kind of stuff. You could stamp on some rice paper. I don't think I would include rice paper in the kit because this is the only piece I have, but, anyway, so basically I'm just going to try to add one layer, and I like to turn it so that I've got my writing in the background kind of going one way, and then additional, layers of writing I'm going to have going the opposite direction, if that makes sense. I like it so they kind of cross. instead of going the same direction, so that if you really wanted to, you could actually make out the writing, if you happen to know French and you can read French, or English. It's not all French, but I don't know what my thing is with the French writing. It just, I don't know, it just does something for me. It's just pretty, you know. So I'm just, you have to be careful with this paper when you're laying it down, because it is fragile, especially once it gets a little bit damp from the glue or from the baby wipes. So I don't rub it. I usually just blot it down. And you can see that it becomes like super transparent, and see the purple just faded away right away. So you can still make out all the writing that's behind that paper, and I don't know, it just looks, I just think it looks cool. So I'm going to add one of these little guys on here. And they don't have to be perfect. So I'm going to go back and trim these once they're done, so I've got a little bit of a gap right there. Let's see. Let's use some of this pattern tissue. Most washi tape will give you a certain amount of transparency too. So if you have a bunch of washi tape, you could definitely, you know, use up some of it. Masking tape is great. Masking tape is somewhat transparent also once you glue it down. I'm going to use some here in a second. So just got to be kind of gentle with this copybook paper, because it is pretty fragile when it's damp. Let's just use a little bit of this. Just put it over here. There's obviously no right or wrong way to do this. You know, I'm not putting a whole lot of thought into composition or anything like that. My main goal is just to add a little bit of interest. I mean, if I wanted to, I could just cover it with, you know, just plain, you know, rice paper or the onion skin paper or something like that without anything on it, right? But, you know, I like to use something. So this stuff is not, I mean, it has so much going on it. That's why I use it really sparingly, because it's really hard to make out the writing behind it, or to see that there's even anything, you know, behind it. So I don't use it a lot. I've just got a couple little spaces. So this, I love this like super wide masking tape. It's just, sometimes I'll tear off like one edge just to so it's not so straight on both sides. Yeah, see, I've kind of, the glue stick, I've been a little bit too rough with it, and it's starting to get squishy. But that's okay. I'm going to kind of rub some of that off so that it's not just like goobers of gluey paper on there. Okay. And then we've just kind of got this area. Let's use another, well, I might as well, I'm going to use a piece of this This is the tracing paper that I stamped on. That should fit just perfect right there. Then I have some other pieces that I've already done, and they're at kind of like different stages, so I can show you how I'm going to go about, you know, kind of finishing these. And the tissue paper is, or the tracing paper is somewhat fragile also, so you really have to kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so I've pretty much gotten, you know, the whole thing is covered now, but you can still see that there's, you know, writing on the paper underneath, and that's all I was trying to do. And also preserving the back, because I didn't want to just glue this onto a piece of, you know, cardstock or you know, chipboard or something like that, because I want this to be seen and felt and you know, maintain its, you know, its beauty. So I just want to add a little, some kind of little flowery thing on here. Let's just use this kind of big sticker. And I'll add like a book page or something like that, like in one of the corners, or, you know, just like part of a book page maybe here and there. Anyway, so I'm just going to put this right here in the center. And I always glue down stickers, even though they're stickers, especially, you know, with this, because this is going to get wet again. So there we go. So there's one. Now let me just show you kind of what they look like when that dries. So I've got a couple other ones. So this is one that, you know, I just added a sticker on there. Just adding, because I'm thinking I'm going to fold this like this, so I want that to kind of be on the cover, right, on the front. So here's another one. This one, I thought maybe I could do 2 covers out of this one or something. I don't know. Anyway, so I just added a couple stickers on there. So I'm not going to leave it like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of the walnut ink crystals to kind of grunge this up just a little bit and sort of give it like a foxing sort of appearance, right? So I'm just taking the walnut crystals and I'm just going to sprinkle just a few. Like, you seriously don't need much, like just a little sprinkling of it. And then I'm just going to spray water from kind of up high in a fine mist just to activate those crystals. Okay, and just kind of let them sort of melt, I guess is the word. You kind of just let them dissolve, I guess, in place. And I don't, like, you know, move it around or anything, because I really want the little dots is what I'm looking for. So once I see that they've started to kind of, I don't know, they start looking like little squigglies. So then I'm just going to take like a dry towel and I'm just going to blot that off. I'm going to blot the moisture off of the surface. Okay, and that, when I'm pressing that, it's also helping the ink to like adhere to the surface. Okay, so see, I've got just a little bit of grunge, and I knocked down that white, stark whiteness of the little sticker too. And then this is going to have to dry again. So I'll just continue doing that with, you know, the rest of them. I love walnut ink crystals. I just think they're so cool. Just very few little sprinkles, and you know, you could just do them like up in a little corner, or you know, you can do them all over the whole thing or whatever. But you'll see, if you've ever used these, you know, but you'll see if you get some and try them. They're just really fun, and they're fun for adding a level of grunge to your stuff, you know. So sometimes when you spray water, the sticker will start to, you know, lift up, and so I'm going to have to go back and glue it down, and you know, but that's okay. No big deal. But I like adding that over the top of the sticker because it just knocks down that brightness, you know. And I'm not doing this. I'm just dabbing it off. I'm just, you know, kind of sopping the water off. So that's kind of how that comes out. And I like it. I like it. Okay. So that's basically how I'm doing the cover. And then once those dry, then I'm going to take it outside out into the garage, and then I spray it with a clear coat. And I will leave a link in the description to I don't have the can here. I think I actually threw it away because it was the last I had, and I need to go get some more. But it's a Krylon clear coat, and it actually says triple thick, like clear or something. I'll leave a link in the description to the spray that I use, and I really like it because it is thicker. If you're spraying book covers and things like that, and you want it to have a nice, you know, glossy, thick kind of coating. I mean, it's not that thick. Like this could actually maybe use another coat, but I don't think it really needs it. Anyway, so this is just one coat, and so I spray it, and it gives it a little bit more durability. You know, it just makes it sturdier, you know. Anyway, so there's another one. I didn't add any stickers on this one, but just used a little bit of that Tim Holtz paper. So this one I've already trimmed I just, you know, go with some scissors and just trim off the edges. So this one I've already done that. And let me get the rest of this stuff off the table. So what I thought I would do is, since I want these to be kind of tall, skinny covers, I thought it would be kind of fun to add some pockets on the inside, and then just do it like that. And then I'm going to trim this a little bit shorter. I don't think they need to be that tall, although that is kind of cool. But I think I'm going to cut these down to like 8 inches, and then continue with, you know, making them into a journal. But that's basically, you know, how I'm making these covers. So let's see, I cut this down to 8 inches because that's about, yeah, I think that's a good height for a little mini journal. And then I'll probably save those. On the inside, where I'm going to actually stitch the journal in, I'm going to just add either like a piece of masking tape. I could glue in some masking tape or something like that, or like a piece of fabric, or some of this fabric washi, you know, just to give it some strength. And I think I'm just going to do the fabric washi until I run out. If I run out of it, then I'll switch to something else on the rest of them. But I haven't made mini journals for a long time, and so I thought this would be fun. So I'm just going to add that right in the center so that there's some strength there for stitching the signature in to the journal. Okay. And then, you know, this is basically the cover. It's gonna, this will create pockets on the inside. I'll stitch this on the sewing machine around the edges and that kind of thing. So I think I'm going to end this video here, and I have something else that I need to talk to you guys about. So I'm going to do another video and give you some other ideas for working on these covers and that kind of thing. So I got some special happy mail that I want to share with you guys. So I'm gonna do that in another video. Anyway, so that's the basics of, you know, how I created the covers for the other like larger journals that I just had in my shop. And in case you're wondering, there is one of the hardcover ones still left in my shop. That's why I haven't changed the title on my last video. There is still one of the hardcover journals still available, just saying, in case you were wondering. But yeah, so this will be basically part 1 of 2, okay, because we'll finish these up, but I want to share that happy mail with you and do some finishing things with this. So anyway, okay guys, that's it for now. All right, I love you. Okay, bye for now.